Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm the City Witch. Today's video is on one of my all-time favourite subjects, and that is dragons. Now this first video on dragon magic is just about the books that I recommend for reading material. So as always, I'll give you a score from 1 to 10, give you a description of what I thought of the book, the contents and the author and the way it was written. So let's jump in it, shall we? There aren't that many, so it's not going to take that long, so don't panic. So here's book number 1. So book number 1 is by the collection of a Berenzal Ravenheart, and it's called Dragonlore from the Archives of the Grey School Wizardry. And this one in particular is wrote by his friend, and his friend is called Leoparddancer Dekirk. And this is what it looks like. So there's a number of these. There's one on gargoyles as well, and there's a number of books in their collection where they talk about myths and legends and various different creatures. But this was the first one they released, and I really thoroughly enjoyed this as a read. Now, the contents of the book is purely myth-based, so there's no actual magical content, but there's a lot of information that you could easily put into magical practices and rituals and design your own spells with. So chapter 1 is dragons of the world, so dragons from Asia, Chinese, Japanese, Middle East, European, America, Africa, Oceania. And then chapter 2, it gives you dragon myths of the world. Now I won't read them all out because there is quite a lot of them, but I'll just give you titles of some of the stories they've included. So there's St. George and the Dragon, Beowulf and the Fire Drake, the Dragon of Poseidon, the Dragon Pearl, what else has it got? Marduk and Tiamat, Indra and Vitra. I think I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, apologies guys. So there's a lot of different myths and legends, and they're all from all over the world. So a lot of those countries that I mentioned earlier are parts of the world. They've gathered myths and legends from all of those to make it fair and give you lots of examples of how dragons were incorporated into their culture and the beliefs behind them and what they think happened to them. So again, some fascinating information worth a read. And my favourite chapter is chapter 2 because of all the myths and legends. And then chapter 3 is Dragons of the Modern Realm. So they talk about dragons in gaming, film, literature and original dragon lore. And then in chapter 4, dragons in the natural world. So dragons in the sky, the ancient world and the modern world. And then it gives you further reading about the author and a index as well, so you can refer to the information in here. So it gives you lots of information, and one of the things it does do, which I really like, it gives you these really beautiful pictures throughout the book as well. It's a shame they're not full cover, but I don't mind that so much because they're quite nice to look at. So if you're someone like me who likes to do a lot of research and actually read stories on the creatures that you're considering working with, then this is definitely a really nice addition to your collection. So this cost me about $12.99, so not really that expensive. It is considered a new age book, and as I say, the information isn't so much magical as more informative, but because the writer's magical, there's a lot of snippets in there and information and tips and tricks on how you'd incorporate the information of that particular dragon into your craft and suggestions as well, so it's worth a read for that alone. But definitely as a book to add in your collection about dragons, it's really informative. So I would probably score this pretty high, at about a 7.5 maybe. I would preferred it if it had at least some information at the back, like meditations, or as it went through with dragons, a meditation on how to connect to the dragon would have been nice. Because it's written by a magical practitioner, that's not too much of a stretch, I don't think. So I would have liked a bit more to this for the price, but the information contained within was really fun to read. I enjoyed the stories more than anything, and really liked researching about the different dragons all around the world. And as this was a book that covered them all, I didn't have to go and research lots of different websites and information. It was just all in this book, so this book was all I really needed. So yeah, about 7.5 out of 10 guys. It's not a bad score and a really good quality book. So the next one is A Happy Mistake. I got sent this by, I was purchasing something online and this was included in the box and I never ordered it, so it was A Happy Mistake. And when I told them about it and said, would you like me to send it back, they actually told me I could keep it. I read it from cover to cover in a day, so it was a really simple, easy book to read. But I loved it, guys, and it's this one. It's called The Little Book of Dragons, Finding Your Spirit Guide. So this is all about dragons as a spirit guide, and I know it looks very cartoony, but trust me, the information isn't. And this is a full colour book as well, so you get beautiful pictures like this throughout the entire book. And it's just stunning, guys. I really liked reading this book. I really enjoyed the stories, the connection of the dragons, the names they were given. Just really nice. So I'll give you an example of the content. So the dragon as a power animal, my first dragon. and then it starts to list all the dragons and their stories and information. So it starts with Trance Journey, the White Dragon, the Black Dragon, the Golden Sun Dragon, the Silver Moon Dragon, the Red Earth or Fire Dragon, the Green Emerald Dragon, the Turquoise Atlantean Dragon, the Violet Amethyst Dragon, the Pink Love Dragon, the Blue Universal Dragon, the Brown Tree Dragon, the Coral Dragon of Happiness, the Grey Mist Dragon, the Leopard Dragon, the Star Wanderer, Osin the Dragon King, the Dragon King and the Phoenix, Dragon King and the Unicorn, Alba the Dragon Queen, and the Welcome Ones. And there's some really, like I said, some really nice pictures in this. That's the Violet Amethyst Dragon. So there's some really nice pictures to work with. I just find this book, it was really fun to read. The stories were lovely. The information was very informative. Now again, it's not a magical book per se, so even though it talks about finding your spirit guide and using them that way, what I found when I was reading through it was it gave you examples on how to kind of work with the dragon, sort of. So it kind of gives you a story first, but then at the end it kind of gives you a little example of how to maybe call upon that dragon or when to call upon that dragon and actually utilise it. So that was quite nice. And I think as spirit guides as well, because most people think of spirit guides as animals or, you know, ghosts or ancestors, but not really dragons. So this was a really interesting read for that. And I really like the idea of dragons being your spirit guide. I mean, why not? Why can't they be? So for that reason, I loved it. And this was a 10 out of 10 for me, guys. And I know I scored it much higher than the other one, but that's because this is full colour, beautifully presented, really lovely stories, really simple, and I can apply all the information in this very easily to any spell or ritual, very, very easily. So with experience, you guys will be able to do exactly the same thing. So this was worth a read as far as I'm concerned. If nothing else, it's a great gift for a young practitioner or a young witch or wizard who's thinking about practicing the craft and wants to get into dragons. And failing that, this is really good for kids as well, because you could read them the stories of the dragons and get them involved in dragon magic from an early age and get them interested. So great for parents as well, I think. So that's why it gets a 10 out of 10 from me. So the next book, it's quite a big book. I think this is supposed to be for kids, but I don't care. I love this book, guys. This was one of my all-time best purchases as far as I'm concerned. The content within it is amazing. The artwork is stunning, and I really enjoyed reading it from cover to cover, and it's just beautifully presented. Now this is called Drake's Comprehensive Compendium of Dragonology, and yes, I was a collector of the Ology sets, guys, so I've got quite a few of them, including the Dragonology one. But that is what this one looks like. Now this was a special edition done as an added bonus to the Dragonology collection. And I know you're thinking, yeah, it was a game and it was a kids book collection, but the content of this book is quite massive, to be honest. There's so much information in it that's why I kept it, and I think it's a great addition to your collection. So contents wise, you've got known dragons. So again, it talks through so many different breeds. So you've got the European dragon, the Nuka, the Basilisk, the Dwarf Dragon, the Wyvern, the Chinese Lung, the Korean Hong, the Chinese Roo, Tibetan Dragon, the Lindworm, the Hydra. And again, some of these names like Hydra and Basilisk, and the Wyvern, we recognise them. You know, they're in myths and legends all around the world and stories. So these dragons aren't made up for kids. These are actual dragons that have existed as breeds and varieties that, you know, we have in stories. So they're not completely made up. Then you've got dragon biology, so it talks about the skeleton structure, the wings and feathers, the sight, hearing, the smell, the scales, the shedding, the hunting, the fighting, the mating, male and female, vibrations, the egg identification, chick identification, nests and layers, growth and aging. I mean, that information alone means this book is fantastic as far as I'm concerned. There's not very many books out there that give you actual biology of a dragon and how it might have breathed fire, how it might have actually flown. So that is fantastic. And then you've got dragon habits and habitats, dragons and humans together, and practical dragonology. And then just to give you some kind of images from inside the book, because again, I think that's well and truly worth it. So you get stuff like that. I mean, look at that. That's awesome. And that artwork, as far as I'm concerned, that's beautiful, guys. That's really fascinating to look at. And like I said, there's so much in this book when it comes to information. It's just fantastic. So here, talking about growth and aging, so it's showing you the age timeline, how long they roughly live from hatchling to old, and again talking to you about all the various different things like the height, you know, the weaknesses, the aging process, talks to you about chick identification as well. So again, not necessarily something I would use magically, but there is some really fascinating information in this book, and it even gives you things like, you know, footprints as well, and some really, like I said, some really beautiful imagery. So even if you don't believe necessarily the dragon itself looked like this, it still gives you some information to work with, some identification, some nice images you could use on your altar, kind of, you know, like that. So again, some really brilliant information in here, guys, and the best chapter for me as far as I was concerned was all about learning about the dragon, its biology, its habitats, habits, its how it breathes fire, that kind of thing. And it goes into so much scientific detail in this book. It's surprising that it's a kid's book, because I've got to be honest, as a kid I probably wouldn't have understood a lot of what's in this, but as an adult I can recognise it for the value and it, you know, the information that it contains. So this is a really valuable book for any magical practitioner. I do recommend it, guys. And as an information or a source of information alongside, you know, these two, it's definitely worth it. And for me, I'd score this at a 10 out of 10. And I know you're kind of probably again focusing on the fact that it is pretty much a kid's book, but I don't care. As I said, this is a great addition to my collection. Absolutely thoroughly enjoy it. It's got some beautiful stuff in it, and the information within is priceless, honestly. So 10 out of 10 from me, worth it to have in your collection and have a good read. Really lovely book to read through as well, and stories are brilliant. It's enjoyable, guys. So 2 books at a 10 out of 10 and one roughly about a 7.5 out of 10. So the last 2 books I'm going to talk to you about, these are the 2 main books that talk to you about magic and actually using dragons in your magical practice. They're both done by exactly the same writer, several years apart, and what she did was she wrote and designed the first one, which was, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best books I have in my collection. And again, this is an absolutely battered and destroyed book because I've used it so often. And then she brought out a new book to further your dragon magic and knowledge, and that one was more like an exercise book that you could work through. So again, both these books are worth getting, guys. So the first one is called Invoke Their Ageless Wisdom and Power, Dancing with Dragons, so DJ Conway. So DJ Conway is a writer I've mentioned before. She's a brilliant writer. This actually is a first edition book, and I believe they don't make this one with the front cover like this anymore. I think it's a new front cover that she's designed, so I'm very lucky to have this. As you can see, it's very weathered and yellow and very, very battered in a lot of places. You can see it's kind of gone all funny there. So I've used this a lot, guys. So this book for me, she's an excellent writer. She always does her research really thoroughly, so the information within is always quite accurate, I found. I've never really found a major mistake in her books. So she's definitely worth reading. She does really do her research, and if she's unsure, she tells you she's unsure, and then she tells you why she believes it's that way, giving you that information, but she also lets you decide for yourself as well. So the way she writes is really good. So the contents of this book, just to give you a few examples. So you've got what are dragons, dragons in mythology and legend, seeking and working with dragons, dragon power and magic, dragon's breath in the earth, ritual tools, the magical personality, music and dance, basic rituals, and then she does give you rituals. So dragon blessing, basic dragon ritual, dragon fire, entering the dragon's mouth, calling the dragon, charm of making and protection of the house. And then she goes on to talk to you about the various different types of dragons. So you've got the elemental dragons, seas and various waters, mountains and forests, winds, storm and weather, desert and arid regions, fire and volcanoes, chaos and destruction, guardian dragons, dragons of the planets, the zodiac, and dancing with dragons. And then she gives you an appendices that covers herbs, oils, stones, candle colours, and then she gives you a dragon script to work with as well. So there's a lot of information in this, guys. And one of my all-time favourite rituals in this book is one that she gives you to work dragon magic on your home and protect it. So every year in March, without fail, I will go through all my routine of cleansing, decluttering my home, giving things away to charity. I smudge the heck out of it. I use a broom to sweep out all the negative energies. I Polisantos, I salt wash all my floors. I use lemons in all the corners of the house. I really go to town on it to get rid of unwanted energies that have stuck or could become trapped in my home. I use a lot of shaman techniques when I do this as well, a lot of dancing, chanting, drumming, rattles. And then when I want to reapply energies and protection to my home, I refer to this Dragon Magic book. And what I do is I follow the steps in this to call upon the dragons to guard my home from all the various directions, to sit upon the roof of my house and protect me from evil. And I can honestly say, every time I have done the ritual in this, I feel empowered, very strong, very confident. And when I do it, I've never ever had anything negative ever enter my house. And being honest, guys, if you were any kind of entity wandering around thinking, oh, that looks like a great target, I'll go for that house, and then you see a big dragon on the roof, are you really going to try it? Probably not. You're probably going to run a mile. So that's the way I think about it. I think when I summon these creatures to protect my home, that they're sat around just guarding it, protecting it, warding it from evil. And as these creatures are pretty powerful and very old, ancient, you know, it's old magic you're calling upon. There's a lot of things out there that won't tangle with a dragon, so therefore they just stay the heck away. So I use this ritual. It's never ever failed me. It's one of the best rituals in the book as far as I'm concerned. So I definitely think that just for that one ritual alone, this book is worth every penny. So you do also get some really nice pictures in the book, kind of like this. And throughout the book, there's some, like I said, some beautiful imagery, lots of information, lots of spells and rituals as well, and symbols that you can work with. And then she talks to you about music and dance, using trance work with your dragons, how to build up energy in a cone of power. And then here we go, basic dragon ritual, and again I've got it, you know, marked, so it's something that I work with quite a lot and use on a regular basis. And actually I believe this one might even be, so this is how to summon the dragons of the quarters. So I'll just talk to you about one of them. So I'll just do the dragon there, just so you can get an example and a feel for the magic in this book. So, dragon ruler of wind and cloud, I call your secret name out loud, Cyrus. Quicken my mind and renew my life. Grant me joy free from strife, Cyrus. So Cyrus is the dragon of air, guys, the guardian of that direction. And each of the dragons has a special name. So for south, you call upon Fafnir, who's the dragon of fire. And then from the west, you summon the element of water, and the dragon for that is Nelion. And then if you're doing the north for earth, then it is Grail. And it gives you pronunciations that you can practice with and how they should be said, the names as well. It talks you through all the steps one by one. And then at the end of every summoning of all the 4 dragons, it also gives you what you're going to work with as well, how to incorporate them, how to honour them, how to have them on your altar, and the tools that you need as well. So it is a brilliant, really informative book. Really enjoy it. Also teaches you how to ride a dragon, teaches you about all the energies of the planets and calling upon the dragons for that, and the zodiac, so you'll learn to work with your special zodiac dragon. So for me that's Pisces, and it will give you all the information for that. So for me, there you go, Pisces. So that was really interesting as well, to build upon my craft and myself and work with myself and my energies. And it was really nice as well to read the back of the book and get some information on herbs that you incorporate into Dragon Magic, and how to mix your own herbal blends for Dragon Magic as well, with some oils and the crystals that the dragons like to work with. And then you get, as I say, a dragon script right at the back of the book to work with, and I actually use that to carve into some of my magical tools as well. So easily a 10 out of 10 for me, guys. This was her first attempt, and the information in it is, as far as I'm concerned, extremely valuable. I use it all the time, so it's worth every penny. 10 out of 10. And then the next one she did was called The Mystical Dragon Magic Book, Teachings of the 5 Inner Rings. And again, DJ Conway. So this is the more modern of the two, and there was quite a gap between her doing that one to this one. So I believe this one, I think I got it when I was probably about 16. And then this one kind of came out when I was in my kind of late 20s. So yeah, at least I think that's when she did it. I don't know. Let's see, printing. So printed in 2007. So yeah, quite a long time ago, guys. So this has been out for quite a while, and I really enjoy this book. This book, out of all of them, if you're going to get any, guys, this would be the one to get. This book was really comprehensive, gives you an awful lot of information, builds upon what she put in here. teaches you so much more than the other one. This is an exercise book as well, so as you work through every chapter, there's spells and rituals and exercises you have to do. There's also items you have to get at the beginning of the book, and then throughout the steps and the chapters, you start incorporating those items into your craft in this book, and then by the end of it, those items are used to make something as well. So there's, you know, so it's creative at the same time. So thoroughly enjoyable. Really enjoyed this book. And to give you an idea of the content, so this content's important. So you get a full introduction, so still Dancing with Dragons, so that's an extension from this with it being called Dancing with Dragons. And then Here Be Dragons, enter the 5 inner rings, the European and Eastern dragons, understanding your dragon magic. And then chapter 1, the way of the dragon apprentice. So in each chapter she walks you through starting you off as an apprentice where you've not yet accepted magic and you're beginning to request working with dragons. So you do a lot of meditations in these as well, where you meet the dragons, call upon them, ask for their blessing in things. You build up your magical tools dedicated to the dragons. So in each chapter there's various things you have to do in various steps. Chapter 2, the way of the dragon enchanter. So this one was my favourite because this was working magic with dragons. So this one was about using dragons for mixtures, spells, amulets and talismans, dark energy of the multiverse, crystals and stones, middle world meditations, planetary powers and the hours of magic, moons in magic, the effects of retrograde Mercury on life and spells, the lower world meditation and dragon enchanter initiation. And then you go on to chapter 3, which is the way of the dragon shamans. That was all about healing. So you did a lot of shadow work on yourself, and then you did a lot of external healing on others in your environment. And then chapter 4, the way of the dragon warrior. So this was about strengthening yourself, your skills, working on your psychic abilities and learning how to protect yourself in magic. And then chapter 5, the way of the dragon mystic. So this was kind of like where you take on the mantle of being known as kind of like witch or wizard, where you become fully functioning draconic practitioner. So that one was quite a difficult chapter to work through, but worth it. And you work with dragons of light, dark and chaos. You learn to change your life using dragon magic, and you work with the upper realm energies. So again, things like angels, your higher consciousness, your higher self, your ancestors, and accessing them through dragon magic. And then chapter 6, she talks about how to continue your journey, further reading and recommendations. So all in all, this one, again, if I could score this much higher than 10, I would do. This is my all-time favourite book on dragon magic. It's certainly one of my favourite and top 5 in my entire collection, and trust me, my library is vast. I've worked through this quite a number of times, and there's certainly things that I've marked out that I refer to on a regular basis. So if you can get your hands on these two guys, if nothing else, these are the best. But if you're like me and like to research the creatures and the myths and legends behind them, then obviously books like these are well and truly worth it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. That's all the books I have to show you. As I say, there's not very many on the subject, but if you are looking to practice dragon magic and really expand the realm of magic for yourself and your craft, then definitely these magic books are worth getting for your collection. I am considering doing more videos on other paths and other realms of existence and working with things like fairies and mermaids and angels. So if anyone's interested in that, please drop me a comment below, and I'm quite happy to do those for you guys. If not, doesn't matter. I don't mind not doing them. So if you enjoyed the video, give me that all important thumbs up, and don't forget to click the subscribe button and let me know that you enjoyed the video, and it'll let you know obviously when my next one comes out. And if you don't already know, in the description below there's information about all my various pages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Patreon. And if you do choose to support my channel through Patreon, thank you very much, I do appreciate it. And if you do book me through Patreon, guys, just to let you know, any bookings that I take through Patreon for spells or rituals or mentoring is much cheaper as a service than doing it through any of my other pages. So for you guys, it's a special reward. And I will be doing competitions in the near future, so please keep an eye out for those, and I will post mini videos on that and tell you how you can go about earning these prizes, which I will send to you at my own expense. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Love you all. Take care. Be good to each other. I'll see you very soon. Bye.